Good morning, folks. My name is Mark Hampton. I'm a local Little Rock lawyer. I've been friends with the Hurd family for quite a few years. After this incident, Myron reached out and needed help in this situation. Myself and my law partner out of Dallas, Buzz Barlow, have agreed to represent these folks. This morning, present are Myron Hurd, Demetria Hurd. They are the parents of Caleb Hurd, one of the teenage victims that were in the vehicle on July the 23rd. Sitting next to them are Dia and Jason Nicholson. They are the parents of Jaden, who was the other minor that was in the vehicle. They were all victims of an unnecessary and unwarranted traffic stop that quickly escalated to a place where they were faced with multiple firearms, repeated commands to obey, or suffer the consequences, which could have ultimately ended in severe physical injury or death had they made a false move while this stop was going on. The families will be glad to share with you what it was like that morning as they had traveled to Dallas the day before, so that their children could participate in an AAU basketball tournament in that area. Their lives changed beginning about 8:30, July the 23rd that morning. We will not discuss any litigation issues today. We will not discuss any damage issues today. Frankly, because we're still waiting on an FOI request from the Frisco Police Department. And under Texas law, they have up to 2 weeks to reply to that. So we don't have all the information. Once we gain that, we may have an opportunity to meet again and discuss other details of the detention and arrest. These folks were horrified, shocked, and still living through the anxiety of what happened. The ones that are mostly damaged have been the children, though, and they will speak to you today on that. With that, I'll turn it over. Demetria, would you like to speak first?
So you want me to just go through what happened that day, or
whatever the press wants you to do?
Or you wanted me to go through?
Yeah. Just walk through how that morning started, how we came to be in that traffic stop. It was
okay.
Dallas North Tollway, right? Is where y'all were stopped.
I believe so, yes, sir. So we stayed at the Residence Inn in Frisco, Texas. The tournament we were in was Super 64 Nationals, which took place at the Fieldhouse USA in Grapevine, Texas. We checked out of the room as normal that morning, and we got our car from valet and we headed towards the gym. I don't know where anything is in Texas, so I made sure all my GPS and everything was set up, and we headed on our way. When I got to the first light, which is in front of the stadium, the Dallas Stadium, Cowboy Stadium, I made a left towards the light, and that's when I noticed the police truck behind me. I didn't think anything of it because I just left from a hotel. I didn't do anything, so it wasn't any concern of mine. I left the light after it turned green, and I headed towards the next light, which leads me to the interstate. And I believe this is the North Dallas Tollway. I'm not sure. But as I left that first light, I noticed that the cops stayed back. Didn't think anything of it. I just kept going. As I was getting onto the interstate, I noticed that they were back behind me. So I just proceeded on, staying in my lane, trying to stay focused to make sure I don't miss my next exit. So I noticed that they were trailing me, and at this point I let my husband know, hey, I think the officer is trailing us. I don't know if they're about to pull us over or what, but they've been behind us for a few minutes now. A little bit after I tell him that, they hit the lights. I immediately pull over to the right, and I put my car in park. I get out my ID, my driver's license, and my concealed carry license for the state of Arkansas. I was going to get my registration and everything out, but my husband was like, no, let's not open let's not open that because your gun is in there. Let's just wait. If they want that information, we'll get to that after we let them know what's going on. So I wait. A few minutes go by. They still have not got out of the car. They haven't made any signals, haven't got on the intercom, nothing. So I find that a little weird, but I'm like, okay, maybe they're just waiting on traffic to let up. After a few minutes, I look in my rearview mirror and I see another police car pull up, followed by a few others. And my husband looked back and he say, they have their guns out. And as soon as he says that, they get on the intercom and they demand we get our hands out of the car immediately. So I panic, let everybody windows down, let the kids know, stay calm, just put your hands out and just do as they say. I put my hands out with my driver's license and my concealed carry license. I didn't think about it, I just put my hands out the window. And they demanded that I drop whatever I had in my hand. I dropped it. At this point, I think my car is off by then. I don't remember when I turned my car off. I think they told me to, I don't remember. But he then directs me to open my car door from the outside. So I'm trying, and at this point I'm panicking because my door is locked. And it's very loud. We're on a busy interstate. I think at this point they've shut the freeway down and traffic is going another direction. So it's very loud and he's yelling, open the door now, open the door. And I'm trying to yell to him, sir, I can't. And I can't really hear you and I'm trying to do what you're asking me to do. So I guess he figured I can't open it and he gave me permission to unlock the door. At this point I'm a little scared, but I do it. I reach in and I open the door, and he direct me to get out. I get out of the car, and he direct me with my hands up, and please keep your hands up. He direct me in front of them in the middle of the interstate. And at this point, he tell me to lift my shirt up. I really couldn't hear him while I'm out here in front of them with my hands up. So I'm just trying to listen and do as he say as fast as I can or however he tell me to do it. So I pull my shirt up. He had me turn around in a circle. And then he direct me to put my shirt back down. And they have me step back towards them with my hands up. At this point, they put my hands behind my back. I think they patted me down and they pulled me back behind the police cars. At this point is when I come in contact with Officer McQueen, which is, I believe, the initial officer that pulled me over. And the first thing she asked me is, is this your car? And I tell her, yes, ma'am, this is my car. And she asked, do the license plates on the car belong to me? And I say, well, yes, ma'am, this is my car. I've had this car since 2019. This is my car. And she starts just asking me more about that. And she say, well, it's coming back that this is stolen. These are stolen tags. And I said, well, no, ma'am, that can't be right because this is my car. And I said, the only thing I can think of, ma'am, is that I just transferred my registration from one city to the next in my state because I moved. And I think at this point they're wondering, they still have my husband and my nephew in the car at gunpoint.
Caleb too.
And they have my son out of the car doing the same thing that I did, guns drawn on him, and directing him to do everything that they asked me to do. I noticed this and I immediately break down and I asked her, ma'am, what are you all doing? Can you please not do that to my son? Mm-hmm. He hasn't done anything and neither have I. Please take the cuffs off of him and don't do this. And she told me to calm down, he's okay, and they still proceed to put him in cuffs and put him in the back of the police car. In the midst of all of this, I have let them know that I'm concealed carry and my gun is locked in the glove compartment. So that's when they turned to my husband and my nephew and they let them know, hey, we know it's a gun in the car, be smart because we will shoot you. And in the midst of all of that, I guess one of the officers figured that something wasn't right, and he went and ran the tags, and it came back that they were wrong, that they had the wrong information, and that they completed a wrong stop. So he advised all of the officers to stand down, and they all went and took my husband and my nephew out of the car. I was still in the car and my son, I think at this point, they're just letting them know, hey, we just figured we made a mistake. The whole energy of what was going on kind of shifted, and they all brought us all together, got my son out of the police car, and then me last, and they just said, hey, we made a mistake. Officer McQueen said I put in the wrong state. I put in Arizona instead of Arkansas, and I made a mistake. And that was it. They let us go on about our way, and that was it.
When you think about that situation, and for as animated as the police were in that moment when the guns were drawn, to all of it be we made a mistake, you're free to go about your day. What was your emotion in the immediate after of them telling that to you?
I believe I was just still in shock. And I really just wanted to get away from them. I was scared, and I was happy that it didn't go as far as it could have went. I just wanted to get away from them. That's really all I was thinking about.
Yeah. And this started about 8:30 in the morning?
Yes, sir.
So, about how much time transpired between the point you're pulled over and they let you go?
I want to say over 20 minutes.
Around 26 minutes.
Yeah, 26, 30 minutes.
I think within 10 or so minutes is when somebody finally said, hold on, something's not right.
Right. Because we had a game. We had a game at 9:05 that morning, and we was probably about 10 or 15 minutes late for that.
You have to understand, we've got at least 5 cruisers, I believe, on scene. All the officers had their guns drawn. And all 3 lanes of the interstate were blocked. They were directing traffic around that area.
And you did not resist, you kept composure. Do you believe there is a bigger lesson for others to possibly take on how they choose to react?
I mean, me personally, like I say, I'd have, as a protector of my family, like I'm not gonna resist because, I'm not gonna resist because we haven't did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling, even when my wife initially told me, baby, the police behind us, I wasn't thinking nothing about it. We just checked out of the hotel. We headed to a game. It's nothing for me to be scared about. You run, even when they initially pulled us over, I'm telling baby, look, they gonna run our license plates. We good. We're gonna go on about our business. I didn't get freaked out until she never did get out the car. And then I look back and there's guns everywhere. I'm like, we haven't did anything. And for them to take my family through all of that, and we ain't, over a mistake that they made, it's an unfortunate situation. And it's very traumatic because, me personally, if I was driving, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now.
When the officer came back and they said, we made an error, we put an AZ instead of AR, what went through your mind?
My thing is, we all professionals. Y'all work for the news. She a nurse. I work in education. When we dealing with our job, we cross our T's and dot our I's. For as long as she sat behind the car, she could have ran the place again, and all of that could have been avoided. So my thing is, if you typed in Arizona instead of Arkansas, we all make mistakes. But notice your mistake before they got several guns on my family.
Do you all have just standard Arkansas license plates, or are they special vanity plates?
It just says Arkansas. Now, I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and I do have a DST. It's kind of just outlined around my plate, but you can still read Arkansas.
Clear as day.
I've never had an officer tell me it was an issue.
Just like a license plate frame?
Yeah, just a frame.
Yeah.
And has anybody from the Frisco Police Department, like the chief or the officer involved, have they reached out to you to apologize?
That first week on that Monday, because we came back home that same day, that Monday morning I woke up and a family member actually ran across the video of my son that's now viral on social media. So I think between Monday night and Tuesday morning is when the video got a lot of traction. I believe they called us, was that Tuesday or Wednesday?
So the deputy chief called us on Tuesday.
Tuesday evening.
And the chief Shilson, called Demetria and I on Wednesday afternoon. And as I told Chief Shilson, we appreciate you giving us a call, but I mean, this happened on Sunday. It's Wednesday afternoon, so it just leads me to believe that you're only calling as a result of the media outrage.
I mean,
Because I mean, if you're that concerned, Chief, then you would have called when you found out. Even if you didn't have any information, you could have called and said, "Hey, I've been made aware of the incident. We're doing our review, internal investigation. We'll get back with you and let you know what we find," or whatever. But he called to address his concerns and empathize with the family after it went viral. So yes, we did hear from the chief, but it was after the media and social media went into a frenzy.
and in so many words, he pretty much said that they were getting a lot of calls about what everyone had seen. So I do think that played a part.
A huge part.
Do you think they were shamed into?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because when that Sunday after it all happened, you know, we left, and it didn't just hit me what had just happened until I got to the gym, and just a huge rush of emotion hit me, and I called and I filed a complaint, and they kind of just handled it as if, okay, well, we're aware of what happened. We'll put in the complaint. We have a series of things that we have to do internally, and we'll get back with you. And that was it.
The chief has issued a written apology, so you can find that online.
And then do you want to say anything to the officer who initially made the mistake?
In the moment, I didn't realize how dismissive you were to us. When my husband tried to express his feelings and what you had just done to us and our son and nephew, you were very dismissive. You didn't seem genuine at all. You were just trying to plead your case. You never said genuinely, I apologize. It was just my bad, I made a mistake. And I'll never be able to understand why. Because now that's something my son ain't gonna have to deal with.
A mistake that could have cost 4 lives and 4 caskets within the blink of an eye. All because of a mistake.
Right. And Chris,
So I'm curious. Prior to this, the 4 of you, did you guys have any prior history of being pulled over by the police to even possibly compare this to?
No, at the most, I've been pulled over for speeding in a rush, and that was when I was younger. And maybe, but no, I've never had any run-ins with the police. No,
Never.
I live an honest life. He worked with the youth. He's in education. I'm a nurse. We work very hard to keep our son in an environment where he can grow. So I never imagined we'll be going through something like this, because I work hard not to even have any issues with the police or anything of that nature. So no.
And it's sad that we have to try to explain our humanity, right? I'm a nurse. You know, I'm corporate. You know, my husband's a pastor. You know, it's like we have to try to somewhat justify, hey, we're human, you know, but this should have never happened. Our son, Jaden, was in the backseat of the car, and my brother mentioned he was screaming for his life. Uncle, we're about to die. We're about to die, like screaming in tears, petrified. So, I mean, this should have never happened. And it happened because they're black, period.
and Frisco Police said this was a high-risk traffic stop, a standard procedure for stolen cars. Do you have any suggestions for changes on this procedure and how you were treated?
I mean, like I say, we got a few different responses to that, because even on the scene, one of the cops, I don't know his name, he had told me, he said, we ran the numbers under Arizona, and it came back as stolen the same year, make, and model of your car, which according to the chief, it was not true. So the chief told us that the tags just came back not found, which is not even warranted for a felony traffic stop, which had happened to us. So me personally, just do your job. And like I say, I teach my son, my nephew, I'm a coach. Like, I work with the youth, I teach. Like, I just try to encourage them. I don't tell them to hate cops. I have parents of my players that's cops. I have frat brothers that's cops. Like, even after this, you supposed to love your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, but like my son, he's not talking. Like, my son is not talking. He's not himself. And just think about, he had to go play 3 games after that incident and was only able to play 1. He looked me in my eye on the court and said, "Daddy, I can't do it." You know, my nephew come up to me like, "Look, we almost died." You see what I'm saying? So it put me in a bad place as a protector of them, because you got guns on all of them and I can't do nothing. If I was to do something, I wouldn't be here. You see what I'm saying? All over a mistake. So if I'm in the back of the corner van, if they cart me and my nephew off, they just supposed to walk up to them and say, "Oh, we made a mistake." And that's how they reacted. She was not remorsed at all. She was more so embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? "Oh, I made a mistake." And I'm expressing to her like what they did to my son and my wife, and she's saying, "Oh, okay, don't worry about it. He's okay." Cutting me off. So I'm not, whatever they do with her, they just do with her. But she knows she wrong for sure. It's just this escalated to 1,000 when it could have just stayed at 0.5. All you had to do is run our stuff. You know we legit. We own about our business, and we'll never be sitting up here today.
And our family, we live as civilized Black Americans. We've never been in trouble, never had any felonies. I'm a pastor. My wife works for the corporate America, and we teach our kids, even though when we look on TV and we see how society has put a target on Black men's backs, we tell our sons that when you look at this, don't view every cop as being bad. All of them are not bad. We never teach them to hate. We never teach them to be racist. And for this to happen to a family that are upstanding citizens in America that are innocent from any crimes is unimaginable.
And how are your kids doing?
Not good. They're traumatized. Jaden, he's lost his appetite. Like he hasn't slept in his room since this happened. As Caleb, they're similar in personality. They're just not communicating. We ask them, "Hey, do you want to talk?" No, they don't want to talk. They don't want to discuss it. They're not doing well at all. They're not the same.
Yeah,
As
then
you
I
can
just,
imagine.
I'm sorry, and I just try to, as like I say, I worked in mental health for a long time, so I just try to do my best to try to keep my son and my nephew busy. Taking them to the gym, doing different stuff with them, and my son, my son and nephew, they good kids. They always in good spirits and stuff. And for me to take them to the gym and they telling me like, "Man, I just can't do it. Like I'm not there." You know what I'm saying? Like something is definitely going on, and I'm dealing with it myself. Mm-hmm. I gotta be there for my nephew, my son, my sister, my wife. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have time to deal with what I'm dealing with because I have to be strong for them. So I can wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? Covering up my pains and trauma to try to be there for them. But it's hard and it's frustrating and it's unfortunate because it never was supposed to happen.
So, when you guys finally got back home to Arkansas, what were the conversations that you had that led you to decide to take the route that you're going right now?
It was like when we got back home, like I said, we drove, 4 hours from Dallas. That whole ride was silent. Like I say, my son, he was in the back just laying there looking up. And like I say, we never did, discuss no legal stuff or getting an attorney or nothing like that. I just called Mark for help. I just called Mark and look, I could talk to him like that. I could call him. I say, "Look, this what went on." You know what I'm saying? And then we conversated, and then it just, we here.
For me, what really pushed me to go ahead and talk to somebody was the video. It just so happened because I seen people out there recording the whole ordeal as they drove by. And it just so happened that the only video that I can find or that made it to me was the one of my son with his hands up and 2 guns to his back. In the video, you see the officer on the outside, but Officer Vargas, whose body cam was released, also had his gun on my son back. And they had guns on him for a while. But when I seen that video, I was there present in that moment, but where they had me, I couldn't see everything. So when I seen that video, it really broke me. It really broke me bad, and I just had to do something about it. Everyone that know me know I'm not a very outspoken person. I'm pretty private and to myself. But I had to say something for my son. I could not live with that, knowing that I didn't say something, because this was just going to get brushed under the rug, just like in all the other instances. It's so many people that have shared a story similar to ours, and I thank God that we're still here to tell it, because it's a lot of stories where they were, it ended tragically. So I had to say something after seeing that video, and that's why we're here today.
When did you see the video for the first time?
It was sometime Monday. Somebody
it
found
was
it. One of our family members was scrolling on a popular Dallas page, a blog page, and it came up. It was in a compilation video of the weekend in Dallas.
Yeah.
How do you respond to people who say that y'all are just trying to do this for money, and that's why you're
We're not gonna.
We don't
we're
respond.
not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we don't
That's
respond
not-
to ignorance.
Anybody else?
So let me understand this. The whole time the police knew the car wasn't stolen, it came back as tags weren't. So you figured they didn't give you the benefit of the doubt because you're black?
I feel like, what was the reason that they pulled me over to begin with? So I would like to know that. And there's a lot of other people that want to know, what was the reason that you even ran my tags to begin with? I think Chief Shilson said that they've had a lot of stolen Chargers. Why do you think that I stole mine? Like, what made you think that?
And who put stolen cars in valet?
That's,
The valet driver literally brought us our car. We stayed there 2 nights. We pull out the hotel, the same route we went the day before, no problems. Like, I don't understand it.
And I do believe that has something to do with it. I actually do. Because, for you to just pull out guns and not knowing whether or not if this is the right person you're looking for, if you're scared as an officer, don't be one. Quit. Find another profession.
And then even I don't know if you guys seen all the videos. My wife had told the officer, I guess he asked her, is it a firearm in the car or whatever? And she was like, yes, it's locked in the glove box. She dropped her keys. Out the window with her license and all of that stuff. So why would he ask, oh, we need more cops. We need more cops for what? How? So you mean to tell me I'm going to get out the car, get the key, take the key fob out, put it in there, unlock it, then take the gun out? Like, why do you need more cops? It's no way possible I can get to the gun because it's locked in the glove box. Like,
he did.
he asked for more cops. Like, he wanted to escalate. Oh, we need more cops. More cops for what? Run the tags right, and we would have been gone 20 minutes ago.
And then just to hear my son in the back seat squirming, hollering, talking to his uncle, the only man there that can save him, and I'm saying to myself, why wasn't I there to help him in that situation?